But the initiative shutting down, so Perfect Dark's gone. Everwild, and several other projects that we're not sure about. Like, look, maybe some of them weren't going very well. I understand, but like, it's at a point now where we keep asking the question of, you're making record profits. We know this. Like, we see your quarterly meetings. We see your statistics because, like, all these places post it. So you're not fooling any of us when you say it's done for any other reason other than you're trying to look good for your shareholders. And you wonder why we all hate corporate executives, why we all hate companies in general, and why people are way more gravitating to the indie publishing scene. Because we're kind of just getting tired of this. And, like, I think in general, like, that's been the biggest takeaway of this one especially, is that people are finally getting a bit of, like, you know what, Xbox is doing really good right now. And the second this news story came out, well, not even the news story came out, like, when the room, like, we knew, like, 2 weeks in advance they were going to be laying people off, if not more than that. And people were like, great. So they're just doing what everybody else does again.
This is their, like, fourth one or something in the last 2 years, isn't it? I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's like not the first layoff round that Microsoft has done recently.
But remember,
It's crazy.
it's not the publishers' problems. It's not the people working. It's not the, you know, the CEOs or anything. It's the people working underneath. They got to take the hit. Let's keep this in mind too, right? Like, we got to make sure that the people making, like, oversized salaries are the ones protected.
Like, so I can understand canceling some of the projects, right? Like Perfect Dark, I thought it was like close to completion kind of idea. Kaylan, I don't know if you were in that.
Sounds like it wasn't.
Like 2 years ago, but it wasn't. Like, I can understand where it's like eventually you got to pull the plug on something that's not working.
Yeah, like, these are games that were also in limbo for a while. Perfect Dark, Everwild was also in limbo for a bunch of time.
Yeah, I kept forgetting that.
And there's obviously games that never got announced, so you never know how long things have been in development or whatever. So it's hard to say. But, like, I mean, maybe Contraband's just somewhere in that list too that we just haven't heard about, like stuff like that.
Who cares about Fable?
Yeah, Fable. Like, is that okay? Like,
here's the thing. I think Fable has to be okay because they've shown so much of it now that and people kind of expect it at this point that I think they're like, fuck. Like, yeah, I think that's if they say that's being canceled, I think that would actually spark a lot of pissed off people.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I don't think, like, look, like, we're sad about people losing their jobs and stuff. Like, that part's never gonna not be annoying to people. But, like, I don't know if there's that many people that are, like, super upset that Perfect Dark's getting canceled. Look, like, we all are at that age that we miss the OG, but, like, Perfect Dark hasn't been relevant since the N64, because let's be honest, Zero was very forgettable. So, like, that's not a license that anyone's paying attention to. Everwild is just a new property, so it's not really that. And I mean, other games that we think of that have been canceled, like Scalebound, like, is anybody caring that got canceled now that we're years out from that? No. Like the games themselves are not the problem. I don't think. It's the fact that, once again, we're literally throwing a bunch of people into unemployment because, generally speaking, as we've learned with a lot of these things that get canceled, it's a bunch of people at the top that don't know what the fuck they're doing, that are making bad decisions, and because they have to look good for shareholders, that they have to make decisions to make the budget look good.
Exactly. And that's my issue with it, because it's like, sure, cancel Perfect Dark, but just, like, to close down the initiative, and, like, I guess everybody's let go, or like,
and it's not even like it was like, you know, clearly. Well, if Perfect Dark was in a much better scenario, maybe it would have been fine. No, we learned that's not true because Hi-Fi Rush was getting stupid amounts of praise, and they shut the studio down almost immediately after.
It did its one thing, and it's like, okay, this is not feasible. Done. Doesn't fit with our books. Doesn't fit with our whatever. Yeah, like, it's these kind of things where it's like, reality just strikes us right in the face. Like, this is a company first. This isn't
it's never been about the games. It never will be about the games.
No, it's like Microsoft can be like, this is an Xbox, and here at Xbox we love gaming and we're gamers. And don't get me wrong, this is nothing against 98% of the employees that work there, because I guarantee a lot of the developers and stuff, they got into developing because they love gaming. Like, this isn't the employees, but it's the
people that are clearly there because they're making their stock options.
Yeah, exactly. Like shareholders and all that. Like, they're not Like Microsoft clearly bit off way more than it can chew with getting all of those acquisitions and all of that kind of stuff. It's great that they're trying so many things, but it's kind of like, would some of these developers been better off not being bought by Microsoft and just trying to find some financial aid elsewhere or whatever, and like not being pulled in? Because if I was a developer right now, not a developer, sorry, but like like an actual like company, development company and small company, whatever it is, and Microsoft's like, oh, become a Microsoft studio. I don't know if I'd want to. Like, I feel like, what safety do I have now joining you, because
Well, it's
you
almost
answer
to
to
the point of, like,
shareholders,
what
and you might just cut us
major
all.
publisher do you join?
Oh, I wouldn't join any major publisher. I'd have to figure out financing. I'd make an indie game. I don't know. I'd go do my own thing. Like, screw it. I don't know.
Kaylan, you've
It's
been looking
brutal.
like you wanted to say something for a couple minutes.
I just like, it does suck, but like I want to put it more into context of like what's going on. Like, we need to separate like Microsoft from Xbox in the sense that Microsoft is a large IT company where Xbox is a blip in terms of what they do, right?
Yeah.
And so this is not a thing where Microsoft is targeting the game division, right? And I think probably what it is, like, I think Microsoft lost something like 9,000 employees or something like that. And I don't think that's all from Xbox, right? Like, there's
No.
other divisions. We just happen to be looking at this particular silo. And so I don't want to come across as like a corporate shill or anything, but I don't think this has anything to do with gaming. I think probably what's happened is that they had to make cuts across the board, and Xbox falls into that Microsoft portfolio, and they had to take cuts from there, as well as probably other divisions as well. And so what you see is studios like, the Initiative, which is working on Perfect Dark, which we've all admitted apparently in hindsight was not performing well. You cut that studio because it's not performing. That's not to say that everyone got let go. They're shutting down that studio, but there was probably people who got tapped on the shoulder and said, "Hey, come work on this or come work on that." And so I don't want it to make it seem like this whole Xbox has an out for Microsoft, or sorry, Microsoft has an out for Xbox or something like that. I think this is just, they were caught in the crossfire of a bunch of divisions that were being hit. And so I don't know. I don't want to like minimize. I don't want to take it away, but I think we have to look beyond the scope of just what's in gaming, because across the IT industry we're seeing massive amounts of layoffs on a regular basis. So
100%.
So
not again, not taking away what we're saying, but just like context, right? It's not a targeted thing against Xbox and studios.
No,
so
it's
like,
Microsoft, the company as a whole. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So let me make this perfectly clear. And this is the part where we don't generally talk about stuff like this very often because we're supposed to be a gaming-centric podcast. I don't care whether or not this has anything to do with the gaming division or not. What I care about is that a bunch of rich people who do not need the fucking money that they keep making are cutting the lives of people that are now out of work that can't make ends meet. That's the actual problem that I have. And we obviously are living in a world right now where most of these people are based in a country right now that is clearly going out of its way to fuck over anybody that's not making $1 million or more a year. So, like, and I know you're trying to give context, Kaylan. The reality is
I'm not defending.
I do not give a fuck about the context. It is a reality of these fucking pieces of shit are cutting people to potentially homelessness because they're fucking billionaire or millionaire shareholders are like, oh no, I'm not making $20,000 this month. I don't care. And I don't care if the game sucks. I don't give a shit. Fucking make it work. You have billions of dollars. It's not our fucking problem. It's not their fucking problem. The people that are doing the grunt work for you, that you guys don't understand your business model. Here's a fucking idea. Stop over budgeting for shit you don't need and start actually spending your money wisely. But that's the thing. You fucking cling to all this shit so you don't actually understand how to spend money properly. So you end up making these dumbass decisions like look, we can get into it as well. Game Pass, which has fucked up your entire business model because no one's buying games anymore. And now companies essentially have to make a perfect game to have any shot of making money. That is on you. But Phil Spencer's not going to step down. The people on the board in Microsoft are never going to step down because it's never their fucking fault. No, it's the people underneath them that have to take the boot. And that's why I'm fucking upset. And I don't like being in this because we're not supposed to be doing this on a gaming podcast. But this has happened for such a consistently long period of time that I'm fucking tired of reading these stories. And that's why almost all of these major companies that I don't give a fucking cent to anymore, because they don't deserve it, because they don't do anything responsible with it. And the fact that so many people's lives are being destroyed because of these people makes it that much worse.